Good morning, everyone. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm in the Client Training and Education Department here at TradeStation, and it is a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you for taking this time to learn about TradeStation. We're glad that you're in the TradeStation family, and we're going to take the next 60 minutes to talk about some of the functionality in TradeStation to help you do charting, to help you do some trading, and also do some scanning. And that's the way that we're going to divide the class right now. I see the chat is pretty active this morning. Welcome everyone from around the world. I am in the state of Florida, right here in the United States, the city of Plantation. If you can share the city and the state that you're connected from, or the city and country, it'll give us an idea on where everyone is connecting from. I do want to welcome you to this class. A few things before we get started on TradeStation. Keep in mind that the chat right there is a public venue, and everything you put in there is going to be visible by everyone that is connected in this class and whoever watches the archive. So keep that in mind. And if you haven't been able to chat, just keep in mind that you do need to sign in to a YouTube account in order to chat. So welcome everyone to this class. Let me switch over here to one of my screens so that we can go over some of the disclosures of this class. Okay, the Getting Started with TradeStation class is divided in 3 parts. Right now, we're going to do the TradeStation platform, which is a 60-minute presentation on the software that you install on your computer. We have a follow-up class to the TradeStation platform, which could be web and mobile or OptionStation Pro. Those 2 classes we alternate every Tuesday. Today we're going to do OptionStation Pro at 12 noon. So you're welcome to register for the follow-up class. It's just 30 minutes. And I believe there is a link that Christina is going to send over to the chat for you to register for that class, since there's no register button below the video player. But feel free to register for that OptionStation Pro class. I also want to make mention of our TradeStation Masterclass. We're doing these classes all over the world because we just added London to the lineup of cities. I want everyone to take some time to go to the URL that is right there at the bottom left of my slide. Christina is also going to send the URL right there in the chat window, but it talks about the TradeStation Masterclass. It is an in-person event where you get an opportunity to meet our staff, our instructors, and to meet other professional traders and learn about TradeStation, learn about trading methodologies. It's a 3-day class. The upcoming class is going to be in San Francisco, California. It's scheduled for June 5th through the 7th, and that's the one that is upcoming. But we also have a class after that in the city of London, that's in the UK, and also in the city of Austin. If you're interested in attending the London class, or even, the Austin class, go to the URL and we have a place where you can pre-sign up. It's just an intent of wanting to register, and that will give us an idea of how many people would like to register. So make sure you go to that URL and learn a little bit more about the TradeStation Masterclass. If you have any questions about the Masterclass or any of our education events, please send an email to learning@tradestation.com. We'll be standing by to answer any questions you may have. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that we talk about in this class is for educational purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation, and also everyone here in this class should be aware of the risks that are linked to trading online, and that is not suitable for everyone. If you'd like to read more about these disclosures, just go to tradestation.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, or all our disclosures are there. Let's get started. I'm going to switch over to my TradeStation platform, and this is the way that TradeStation 10 comes up. If you just joined TradeStation, welcome to the TradeStation family, and we're going to make it as easy as possible for you to analyze the markets, put in some trades, and do some scanning on the markets. Those are the 3 main topics that we're going to talk about today. This is TradeStation 10. Let me pull up some of my drawing tools here so that I can point to a few things. At the top left, oh, that's a pretty thick arrow. Let me switch it. All right. At the top left of TradeStation, you have 3 tabs. You have apps, you have trade, and you have position graph bar. You can take your mouse cursor and you can put it on top of those tabs, and you'll see how it'll drop down a menu. Let me show you. I'm going to hover over apps. Oh, let me close my drawing tool just a moment. I'm going to hover over apps, and you can see that I have all the applications that you can open up in TradeStation. I hover over trade, and you get a trade bar. and I hover over position graph bar, and you get a bar that displays any open positions that you have opened in your account. Right now, I have 3 positions open in my simulator. You can see the boxes right there at the top of my TradeStation. I have Intel, and here on the right-hand side, I have Twitter also. The nice thing about the position graph bar at the top of TradeStation is that it tells you how your positions are doing. I always like to see the position graph bar at the top because it gives you a quick glance of your opened positions. Every one of these bars that I'm talking about has a push pin right here on the left-hand side. So if I do want to keep my position graph bar at the very top, I just click on the push pin, and you can see that it's docked at the top of my TradeStation. So that makes it very convenient. This TradeStation Today workspace, you can see the name right here. The TradeStation Today comes up the first time you log into TradeStation. If you lose or cannot find the TradeStation Today workspace after some time, just go to the apps section of TradeStation, and you're going to find the TS Today button right there at the top. It allows you to open this workspace. There's a few things here that I want to point out. Right here on the top left, you have a featured video. It has a drop down right here that allows you to go through a list of videos that we upload every time we have a new event. So if you lose any of the events that we run on TradeStation on a weekly basis, you can just go here and watch the most recent one. I believe the getting started on the TradeStation platform is right there as a sticky, so it's always going to be there when you go to that drop down. Right here on the middle of the TradeStation Today workspace, you have the social feed. Every tweet that goes out in our TradeStation Twitter account will go there. Over here on the right hand side, you have a calendar of events. Just click on the date right there on the right hand side, and you can see what is upcoming in TradeStation. On the bottom left, you have some boxes for featured and recommended workspaces. These are sample layouts that we built into TradeStation, and you're welcome to click on any of those boxes to see how you can set up your TradeStation workspace. You can organize your windows and the applications in so many different ways. There's no right or wrong way. It's all about how it's more comfortable for you. Okay, so again, the TradeStation Today workspace is up here on the apps, and you click on TS Today. It'll give you access to some of this information. Okay, Charles, I see your question about making the featured video full screen. I believe you cannot make it full screen from within the TradeStation Today workspace. So that's one of the limitations. So if you want to watch it full screen, you're going to have to search for the name of the video either on our YouTube channel or also on the TradeStation University page. You can search for any title. Okay. All right. I'm going to be looking at the chat window, once in a while. So if you want to send me a question, feel free to do so. If it's a question that I can answer live, I'll try to do it right here. If I don't get to your question, don't feel that I'm ignoring you. We have a great support team that you can call at any time and get somebody on the phone to answer questions for you. So at any point, if you feel like you need somebody to walk you through different functionality, give our support team a call. They're available 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I'm having Christina push the numbers right there in the chat window so that you can call them. And even if you want to say hello, just give them a call. They'll be glad to hear your voice. All right. Let's talk about setting up your TradeStation and opening up workspaces. Okay, to open up workspaces in TradeStation, we look right here at the bottom. Let me just point to it with my drawing tool. Right here at the bottom left side of TradeStation, you have the workspace tabs, and what we're going to click on is this plus sign right there to the right side of the tab that you see right there at the bottom. So if I click right there in that plus, it opens up an untitled workspace. It's great. This is an empty layout. I can open up any application that it's here. We already made it clear that in order for you to open apps in TradeStation, you go right here to the top left, apps. And I'm going to start off with a brand new chart. So chart analysis is one of those buttons, and I open it up. Okay. By the way, Tim, I see your question about recommended workspaces. Any workspace that is there was very well thought out. and I believe they're labeled by asset classes. So if you trade equities, we have some equities workspaces, we have some futures workspaces, we have some day trading workspaces. So they're clearly labeled depending on your trading style. So take a look at all of them and see which one you like. For this class, I'm going to start from scratch. So a lot of you may want to do that instead of, opening up built-in. But if you want to open up the built-in, that's fine. They have a lot of, different windows and applications, and you can start there if you want. We started off with one window right here. Every time that you need an application in TradeStation, it's just a matter of going to the apps and opening or clicking on the little box for the application you want to open. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I resized my chart. And every application in TradeStation can be resized by clicking a corner and dragging it in any direction. So you can pretty much already see that you can organize your windows in any shape and form that you want and that is comfortable to you. In this particular example, I'm just going to make it large so it covers the whole area and we can concentrate on the chart only. All right, so on the top left corner, we see the symbol. This is a chart of McDonald's, and it's on a 5-minute chart. I'm going to show you a quick way to change the symbol and to change the time frame. To change the symbol is just a matter of using the keyboard. A lot of you don't know this, but TradeStation is sensitive to keyboard commands. So you can just type in a command and TradeStation will react to it. I think that's very convenient and it's a time saver. So if I want to change this to Bank of America, for example, I just type in BAC on my keyboard and I want you to look at what's happening here on my screen. Do you guys see this box right there in the middle? It's called the command line. And that shows up automatically. As soon as you start typing on your keyboard, the command line pops up. And you can see what's inside because I just typed it in right there. It's Bank of America. So all I need to do right now is hit the enter key for those changes to take effect. So I'm going to do that right now. I hit enter and notice how the chart changes. Now I'm looking at Bank of America. And this is true for every application in TradeStation. You just have to pull up the application. And if it's not on the symbol that you want, just type in the symbol using your keyboard and the chart will update. Another good thing about charting, something that it's not so obvious, that's why I teach it here in class, is how to compress and expand the view of a chart. For that, I use the up arrow and the down arrow key on your keyboard. So look down your keyboard, find the up arrow and the down arrow keys on your keyboard and press them multiple times. If I press the up arrow key multiple times, take a look at my chart. It opens up. You add more spaces in between candles. It makes it a little bit easier to see the detail. Now, if you want to see or if you want to squeeze more historical data, do the opposite. Down arrow key multiple times until it compresses and you can see more of the history. Very easy, very straightforward, and it helps you maneuver on the chart. If you want to take this feature a step further, take your mouse pointer, put it on top of the candles. As soon as you do that, you can tell how the mouse cursor changes into a hand, so you can technically grab the candles and move them in any direction. Click and drag. Take a look. That's pretty nifty. All right. So I'm just moving the chart in any direction. I can also take my cursor and move it over here to the right-hand side on the prices, on the scale of the chart, and click and drag. That way, you can adjust the prices that way if you want. Once you're done, if you want to reset the view, just bring your cursor down here at the bottom of the chart. You're going to see how some buttons appear right there at the bottom. Those buttons have a reset right there. The 5th button is a reset button. I click on it and I'm back on the reset scale. So feel free to move your chart around, and when you're done, just bring your cursor down and click on the reset. It'll reset the view for you. Let's talk a little bit about technical analysis and studies. If you're going to analyze the chart, it's important you know where to find them. Right here at the top of the chart, we have a studies button. I click on it and I can click on add study. Every study in TradeStation is going to be available in this menu. So make sure that you know where to find it. At the top of the chart, just click on studies, click on add study, and I get a dialog which is organized in 5 different tabs. Now, because of time, I cannot show you every single study that is here, but what I can do is show you one, and then you can do every other one the same exact way. So let me go ahead and go to the indicator category. And you can see volume studies, you can see Bollinger Bands. If you're looking for RSIs or MACDs, they're all going to be here. I'm going to show you one simple idea, which is the moving average to line. So let me go and look for it. It's right here, moving average to line. And I'm just going to put it here on my chart. As soon as it goes on the chart, you can see the two lines. I'm going to make the lines a little bit thicker so they're easier to see on your video player. And I do that by double clicking on the lines. You're going to learn this as you start using TradeStation. You're going to learn that double clicking takes you to the customized dialog of different items in TradeStation. So I just said, oh, I wish the lines were a little bit thicker. So what I do, I double click on the lines. It doesn't matter which one you double click on. And it takes me to the customized indicator dialog. I'm going to go to the style and I'm just going to make the lines a little bit thicker. Okay, I like to set that as a default. So I have a default button right here at the bottom. And I just click OK. So notice, as soon as I did that, the lines look nicer on the screen, especially on the black background. And I can open up the chart a little bit if I want to. So these are my moving averages. I didn't have to specify the parameters either. So I didn't tell what I wanted for the fast and what I wanted for the slow. Every study in TradeStation comes with default parameters. Now you can change those. So as a user, you can say, well, I want a 30 bar moving average. Oh, I want a 200 bar moving average. To do that, again, you want to customize the lines. So we double click on them. So let me go ahead and double click on those lines one more time. And from the style, I'm going to jump to the inputs tab. Think of inputs as way of you communicating what you want that study to do. And every study that you select in the list of study that we just saw earlier, you can go to the inputs tab. Just double click on the study and go to the inputs. So here, let's say that I want the fast to be a 30 bar moving average and the slow, I want it to be a 50 bar moving average. Once I click OK, you see how the two lines recalculate and now they're showing me the 30 and the 50 that I just specified. All right. Perfect. Let's see. I got some questions here. Where to get market profile chart? If you're looking for a market profile, what I recommend is that you go to the studies list, studies, add study. There's a category there called activity bar. Go there and we have some studies that simulate market profile. By the way, this is for everyone that is in this class. If you go to the Add Study dialog and something catches your attention, let's say, for example, you like to see what the money flow is. Money flow. Just highlight any study here and go to definition. We have a great documentation on our help files. It's an online help documentation. You can just highlight any study, click on definition, and it'll pull up a document explaining what the study does. So for anyone out there that you're looking at all this list and it's overwhelming, just take your time. You know, anything, you can just click on any study and go to definition to find out what it is. And the same applies for VWAP or any other studies that are available in TradeStation. Once I have a study on the chart, and this is something that is really good, of TradeStation, is that you can set your TradeStation to give you alerts. Now I'm looking at the moving average right here, and what I'm looking for is for the averages to cross. Whenever those two lines cross, that's an indication that the trend of the market may change. Now, I want to be alerted of that. Every study in TradeStation has built-in alert. All you need to do is turn it on. Once you turn it on, I get alerted when the condition is true. To turn it on, I'm going to double-click on the line and go to Alerts. I enabled alert. Notice I can choose how I want to be alerted. So if you want a sound to fire off, if you want a pop-up window to come up, or even if you want an email to be sent to your email address, you can do all that here by clicking on the configure button here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to enable the alert. I'm going to say alert once per bar because on a chart, I'd like to reset the alert every bar interval. Notice that I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. So that means that every 5 minutes, I have the ability or the possibility of getting the alert. I click OK, and there it is. I have an alert put into my moving averages. As soon as those two lines cross, I'm going to be alerted. Okay. And by the way, the question about the VWAP, we don't have a charting VWAP indicator built into TradeStation. You're going to find, VWAP charting indicators in the trading app store. That's a place where you can go to get VWAP. You can also go to the Easy Language Library in TradeStation's website. That's another place where you can get a VWAP. We don't have a built-in one. Someone's saying I have a hard time using Fibonacci. I did too at the very beginning. Fibonacci is not easy to understand. It's not easy to do, but we can show you Fibonacci in a little moment, how to draw it at least, We have documentation in the help that also explains Fibonacci if you're interested. How do we change the color in custom group study? Changing the color is very easy too. If you don't like the colors that we chose for the moving averages, again, changing the color, double click on the lines, go to the color tab, and you can change pretty much any color of any study in TradeStation. Question here, is there a way to reset the desktop dashboard back to the default? It's kind of, we don't have a reset button. So if you do a lot of changes to your TradeStation that you really forgot how it came, out of the box, the only thing that is left to do is just to uninstall and reinstall. That's a hard reset right there. But as you make changes to TradeStation, you're going to be customizing it to the way that you like using it. So just factory reset is only available if you do an install. All right. How do we move a chart onto another screen? You don't have to. So you don't have to move a chart out to a different screen. If you have a computer that supports multiple monitors, all you need to do is come over here to File, Desktop, and go to New Desktop. That's all. When you go to New Desktop, it pretty much opens up TradeStation again on another monitor. So you don't have to move windows outside of the TradeStation desktop. You just open up a new desktop and then have a window or a chart window on that second workspace. Okay. Here I see I have a hard time using Fibonacci retracement lines because of background dragging. Interesting. I may have to give that a try and see what we can do. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. For those that are using drawing tools, they're right here in the drawing menu. You go to the drop down and you find a whole list of things that you can draw with. You find text, you find arrows, you find boxes, ellipses, and some more of the analytical ones like the Fibonacci retracement lines. Let's go ahead and draw them. I'm going to do price retracement lines. Okay, let me close my chart a little bit. Let me reset my scale. Hold on. Let me get out of the drawing. Let me delete this. I'm going to reset my chart scale. Let me go to drawing again. Fibonacci price retracement lines. I'm going to go from this low and then go over here to this high. All right, and see how the price retraces using the Fibonacci calculations. Now, somebody said that they're having a hard time using this with background dragging, but I can still, drag this and expand the view here as I need to. Now, I can reset that status again. So I'm not really sure what the issue is. Again, if you're having difficulties using a certain feature, call tech support. They're very good at walking you through different steps, okay? So that's the way that you go to the drawing menu and draw anything on the chart. By the way, the same way that I set up an alert in the moving averages, I can also set up alerts on anything that I draw on the chart. So if I want to be alerted whenever the price, touches any of those Fibonacci lines, I just double click on the Fibonacci lines. I'd go to the alerts tab. A lot of the things here in TradeStation, you can just double click and customize and go to the alert. In this case, go to the alerts and set up alerts. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at some trading. I showed you in charting. Let's just leave it at that. I showed you how to change the symbol. I showed you how to change the time frame. Actually, I didn't show you how to change the time frame. Time frame is a drop down right here. And if I want to do a daily chart, I just click on it. And here's a daily chart of Bank of America. So you have a dedicated drop down for time frame. So we change the symbol, change the time frame, how to add studies, and how to add drawing tools. If you don't find the time frame you're looking for, just go here to the bottom of the drop down, click on customize, and you can specify the details of the type of time frame you want. Okay. How do you save different chart styles? The question, I'm not really sure what you mean. In the style drop down, you have different ways in which you can stylize the chart. Once you have a chart set to the style you want, you should save it, and everyone should save their workspaces so you don't have to repeat your work every single time. Saving the workspaces is easy. I just come down here at the bottom on the tab that says Untitled Workspace. I right click on it, save the workspace, and I can call this anything that I want. I'm calling this my chart, and there it is. The name is applied to the tab. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to a different workspace and look at another application that is going to show us how to trade. I'm going to click on the little plus right here at the bottom left again. And the order entry tool that we're going to use today is the matrix. So let's go to apps and click on matrix. Matrix is a very cool window to use. Very efficient too. And I'm going to explain why. Let me make the numbers here in the matrix a little bit larger so they're easier for you to see on your video players. I'm going to go to settings and go to window to change the font size. I'll make this A10 and bold. All right, I'll click OK. And there it is. Just a little larger so it's easier to see. Let's talk about what's going on here in this application. What stands out is a blue and a red column. Everybody clearly sees that. In the blue, right here in the blue, we're going to see buyers. So everybody that's inside the blue, or those numbers that you see inside the blue, those are shares that are waiting to get filled. The same applies for futures. If you're watching a futures contract, the number you see inside the blue is actually sitting shares. Shares that are sitting there waiting to get filled at the price that you see here on the right-hand side. On the red, we have the opposite. These are the sellers. So these are anybody that submitted a selling transaction for Bank of America sits there if there's wanting a higher price on Bank of America. So great information to have the market depth. This is called market depth, by the way, or level 2, because you can see where the pressure is. Is the pressure on the buying side or the selling side? Over here on the right-hand side, we get actual traded volume. So this is interesting because you can see which prices have been traded the most and somehow use that information as a way of identifying support and resistance levels. And right here in the middle, we have, of course, the prices of Bank of America as it trades up and down. What sets this apart is that I can trade on this window by clicking on the blue or the red. If you're a buyer, you're going to click on the blue. If you're the seller, you're going to click on the red and get a very good visual of where your order is in relationship to the market overall. I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of Bank of America. So I'm going to go over here to the trade bar. Right here on the right-hand side, you have a trade bar with different settings for your order. So I'm going to change the quantity to 1,000. All right. And I'm also going to change the duration for my order. A day order, the one that is default, is only for today. So if you want an order to be active, not only today, but tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, you're going to have to use something that is longer duration, like GTC. GTC is the other type of duration that is used very commonly because it stands for good till cancel. So the order will remain there until you actually cancel it. So I got two things that I changed: the quantity, shares that I want, and the duration of that order. Now what I want to do is I want to send an order to buy Bank of America at $28.60. That's my entry price. Currently it's trading at $28.66, but I want to get filled at $28.60 down here. So what I'll do is I'll hover over here the blue. You can see that my matrix is getting ready to buy because I can see the blurb right there on the left-hand side. It says buy 1,000 limit. So I know that by clicking inside this cell, I'm going to submit that order to buy 1,000 shares. Let me demonstrate. Click once, and the order goes through. One thing that I didn't mention is that my confirmations are disabled. So you probably saw that my matrix is a one-click order entry window. I click, and the order goes through. If you're doing this on your TradeStation, you've probably got a pop-up window letting you know the order that you're about to send. That's called a confirmation. Confirmations are good because it tells you how much it's going to cost you. You can double check that your settings are fine, and always look at the confirmation when you send the order. But as you become more familiar with the functionality, some of you may want to disable that confirmation like I just did here, and I just clicked and the order went through. So on that same confirmation window, you can disable it. There's a checkbox that allows you to disable it. My order is about to get filled. You can see it right there on your screen. And there, I got filled. I didn't have to do anything to it. How do I know that I got filled? Because I heard it. On my computer, sounds are turned on by default and it says order filled. I also have a horizontal bar right here running across my fill price. I did get filled at the price that I wanted, $28.60. But on top of that, right here on the left-hand side, I see real-time P&L. This is very useful as you have a position open because you can see as the market goes up or down how it affects your profit and loss. Let me take a look at some of the questions here. All right. Somebody's asking about the moving average. Make sure you, when you go to the list of studies, click on moving average and there's a definition button there. It'll give you an explanation of what the study does. How do I add pre-market and aftermarket? Great question. In charting, I didn't go over this, but in charting, you can go to the time frame drop down and go to sessions. This will give you the ability to add the pre-market and the post-market. What does the little V represent? Good question. Right here in the matrix, you're going to find a price that has a little V next to it. The V is the VWAP calculation. Somebody earlier asked about the VWAP. We have it in the matrix built in, so it identifies what the VWAP is. For those that are not familiar with VWAP and what it means, it's an acronym that stands for the volume weighted average price. That's what the VWAP stands for. There's a lot of documentation not only on TradeStation but also on the web if you want to learn a little bit about VWAP. All right. All right. Okay. So let's talk about setting targets and stops right here on my matrix. The column that you see on the left-hand side can be used to easily put in a stop. Let's say that I want to get stopped right here at $100 loss. I take my cursor, I put it over the negative 100. I haven't clicked, but you can see on the right-hand side that it says sell 1000 stop market. So I can click in here. And there it is. That's my exit. You see, you get a visual of that order right there in the matrix. The red box is where my stop order is. Not only that, but I can click and drag that stop at any time that I want. So if I want to be, if I feel, a little bit more risky today, I can take my stop and I can just drop it down. Maybe today I want to risk $150. So clicking and dragging allows you to change the order. It actually cancels the original one and places a new one, which I think it's a great feature. Clicking and dragging is going to make your order entry so much simpler and easier to do. Again, click and drag to any location you want. If I want to cancel the order, it just requires a click. So I click on the red box and the order disappears. It goes away. Again, my matrix is a little bit faster because I disabled confirmations and I turned this into a one-click order entry window. You have the option to do that. You can do the same on a target side. So if you click on a positive number, you also send a selling transaction at that level. And you can click and drag that order to any location that you want. And this is another recommendation that I make to everyone that is in this class today. Make sure that you go to the simulator. All this functionality, test it out. Try to do the most you can on the trading simulator before you go to your live account. It'll make your trading so much simpler to do because you don't have to worry about feature. You've already practiced on the simulator. That's what the simulator is there for. If you want to have the profit and the target at the same time, because right now I just showed you how to do a stop and then I showed you how to do a target, but if you want those two at the same time, you have to use something that's called an OCO. OCO stands for order cancels order. And right here at the bottom of the trade bar on the right hand side, I have a place OCO order button that I can click on, and that's not the one that I wanted. So let me go ahead and cancel that. The place OCO order works with this little drop down that offers you multiple templates that you can use. The one that is simple that I like to demonstrate in every class is this one that says exit bracket with one limit, one stop. It's called a bracket. You have a profit target and a stop loss, and they're going to be connected so that if one gets filled, the other side gets canceled. That's a great trade because you can just set your parameters and leave it and let it play out according to your rules. So I'm going to go to the exit bracket, one limit, one stop. If you want to see how far away that target and stops are going to be, you can click on the little formatting button on the right hand side or the ellipsis. Or if you want to use the defaults, just click on the place OCO order button. As soon as I do that, take a look. I see two red boxes in my matrix that represent my two exit orders, one at a profit target, one at a stop loss. They are connected. One gets filled, the other side gets canceled. It's doing all the work for you. Again, these orders can be adjusted. I can click and drag and push them out a little bit more if I want to. Everything, you do it on the matrix with a click and drag, okay? Can you change P&L to a percentage? This column right here is showing you a raw, dollar amount. There is a column though. Let me right click here and say settings and go to columns for the detail. There we go. Settings, columns, detail, and then you can add the P&L as a percentage if you want to. Okay, what's the difference between TS class in San Francisco and here? Here meaning not sure, but I believe Christina's going to send you a link that provides you a little bit more information on that. And the simulator, Scott, everyone gets the simulator. It's something that's built into the platform. If you're already logged in, I'm not sure if you noticed, but in the login window, you know, the box where you enter the username and password, you're going to see the two buttons, one for the live account and the other for the simulator. Let me go ahead and cancel my orders. I have these yellow buttons right here on the right hand side. I'm just going to click on cancel all, and I'm going to click on the close button to close my position. Do not confuse the close button with closing the window. It's actually closing whatever you have here. I have 1,000 shares of Bank of America, so if I click on close, it'll be a quick market order to close my 1,000 shares at market. So it's simple to do. Let me do another trade, and this is the last example that I'm going to show you before I go over to scanning. I'm going to switch the matrix to a futures. For the benefit of those that are trading futures, I'm going to change my matrix to the S&P E-mini. ES E-mini, right? So let's go ESM 19. All right, that did not work. Let me do it one more time. All right. Okay, so the command line shows up. Everybody sees the command line right there in the middle, right there. That's the command line. You can see the symbol that I just typed in, ESM. All I need to do is hit the enter key and the change will take effect. So the same way that I change the symbol on the chart, you do it the exact same way right here in the matrix. What I'm going to do this time though is I'm going to switch this to a complete trade, one that has an entry and it attaches exits at the same time. And as a trader, you probably have a plan even before you put in a trade. You say, okay, I'm going to get in at this price, right? And once I get in, then I have a target and I want to make this much money if it goes there. And if it goes against me, then this is the risk that I want to take. So it's all in your head, and TradeStation allows you to put in that trade in one step. I think that's very useful. So here for this futures contract, I'm just going to check the box that says attach OSO. So everyone sees the box right here. Attach OSO means that you're going to have a primary order to buy the contract, and that order is going to send your exits. That's why OSO, order sends order. Again, I can click on the little ellipses, the three dots on the right, if I want to format the distance. For this demo, I just want to show you the feature and how it works. I'm going to attach OSO, and all I need to do is send my buy order. Let's suppose that I want to buy at 28.62. Right here is this price, 28.62. I go over here to the blue side and I click. This is my confirmation window. Notice that I didn't disable confirmations for futures, and you can see it right here on the screen where I got my buy order that is sending my two selling transactions. But once I click OK, before clicking on yes, I'm just gonna say or check the box that says don't show me this again for futures orders and click OK. Take a look at what's happening here in my matrix. With one click, take a look here on the right hand side. I have 1, 2, and 3 different orders sent with one click. The blue one is my order to buy, and the other 2 are the orders to sell if I get filled on my buy. Now, this is a trade that I can just leave there and let it play out. You know, this is a day order. Everybody sees the duration here on the right-hand side. So when the market closes, that order will be canceled. Now, if you do want the order to remain there for multiple sessions, just make sure that you go to duration and change it to GTC if you want to, before sending the order, of course. Right now, I sent it as a day order, so I would need to cancel it and enter it again. But take a look at what happens when I drag the primary order. I'm going to drag it down to 28.61. I drag it down, and as soon as I do that, you can see how the order setup, the complete setup, shifts because it's all connected. Let me go ahead and get filled. I'm going to go ahead and push it up here to the selling side because I want to get filled right now. Okay. I drag it up to the ask price. There we go. I get filled. Notice what happens to the other two boxes. From gray, they turn red because now they're active orders. They're actively monitoring my position to get out at the levels that I specified. All right. Can you do a trailing stop? Most definitely. If you want the trailing stop to be part of the bracket, you can. Let me go ahead and close and start up again. You do that. When you go to the Attach OSO, click on the Formatting button. And let's say that I want the stop, which I see it right here. I want that stop to be a trail stop. Just go and follow the same row and click on the little 3 dots at the very end. And this is where you can set the trailing stop. Let's say, for example, that I want to set the trailing stop at exactly 2 points. I click OK. I click OK again. And then I send the order one more time. Let me buy right here. I buy. And now you can see how the stop right here shows the trail amount. It's trailing by 2 points. So as the market goes in my favor, that stop will follow it. And it will only be static when the price is going against me. So right now, the price is going against me. I'm losing about $50, and that's why the stop is waiting to get hit. But if I were making money, then it's going to move up. Let's see if it goes up right now. If it starts going up, we'll give it a few seconds to see if it wants to go up. And whenever I want something to go up, of course it never does. But we'll just leave it there for a moment. But notice how the trailing stop is just 2 points away from my current trading price. All right. Let's see. Is there a list of futures in the platform? We don't have a list of futures. You open up one of the default futures workspaces. It'll give you a list of a lot of the popular futures contracts that are available. Let's go ahead and show you a little bit of scanning on TradeStation because I think that's a beautiful and powerful feature of TradeStation, allowing you to find trading opportunities on a list of symbols. Let's go over here to a new workspace. And the application that I'm going to show you right now, it's called RadarScreen. So I'll find RadarScreen, I'll open it up, and it looks like any regular quotes window, but so much more powerful. And I'm going to show you why it's so powerful. Right here we have the symbol. Notice that it's empty. I'm going to start with a default list of symbols. Right here in the data drop down, you have the ability to add a list of symbols. In the menu, you have the 3 main indexes. If you want to see what other lists are available, I recommend you go here where it says other symbol lists, and it'll give you more options. For this demo, I'm just going to use the NASDAQ 100 and start there. So that is the 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ 100. I can scroll up and see all the symbols. Let me open up the volume today. You can see the volume today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the NASDAQ 100, and I want to look for symbols that are crossing their moving averages. Remember at the beginning of the class we talked about studies and setting up an alert? Well, you can do the same thing here in RadarScreen, but you can do it on a collection of symbols, not only on one symbol as we did on Bank of America, I think it was. Here, I just have 100 symbols of the NASDAQ 100, and I can put a study that gets calculated on every single symbol that is in my RadarScreen. That is like having 100 chart analysis windows working at the same time for you. Now, I do think that that's a very powerful tool. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on the plus right here. The plus right there at the top next to the column headers allows you to add more columns. So I'm going to go there. Okay, and from here, let me go here to the moving average 2 lines. Here it is. And I'm going to add it. I'm going to move it down all the way at the very end next to volume today and click OK. And here it is. Take a look. It calculates the value of the moving average for each one of the symbols that is on the left-hand side using this interval column right here on the left. Now that's very important because it's using historical data on a 5-minute interval. So that determines the type of chart that you're going to be using. So let's say, for example, that you want to monitor the moving averages, but on daily bars. So what I do is I go here, I select the symbols. You have to format or customize the symbols. I highlight, I click on the symbol header, and I do that because I want to highlight the full column, and I go to time frame, and I select daily. And you can see that it changes the interval to daily, and it also recalculated all the moving averages because now it's using different data. So that drives the calculation of all the studies you use right here. Let's do one more thing. I'm going to resize this window. Why? Because in this open space, I want to have a chart. So I'm going to come up here to apps and clicking on chart analysis this time. So let's put up a chart next to my radar screen. All right. Let me go ahead and resize it. All right. And I'm going to turn the chart into a daily chart. And I'm going to add the same study that I added to RadarScreen. So what I'm doing is I'm just matching the chart to RadarScreen so that I can have a graphic of what the indicators is doing. Okay, so I see the two lines right there. Okay, so let me see if I can get some questions out of the chat here. Let's see. How do you break up a large order into smaller lots without incurring additional transaction fees? That would be a question for the trade desk. I know that there's some commissions that get charged in your account depending on the number of transactions. I'm not sure if it applies to an OCO or an OSO, but we would have to find that out from the trade desk. What does the HB behind the symbol denote? It actually means hard to borrow. So it's a symbol that is cannot be shorted. If you want to short a hard to borrow symbol, you need to contact the trade desk. Can you arrange the symbols from top gainer in decreasing order? Yes, you can. All the columns here in RadarScreen can be sorted. So if you want to sort by percent change, just double click on the column header and it goes from the ones that has lost the most to the one that has gained the most. And if you want to switch the order, just double click on the column header one more time. So great feature right there. By default, it's sorting in alphabetical order on the symbol column. Can one do trades on the charts? Most definitely. And I don't show it here in this class because we don't have enough time. But chart trading it's also a very powerful tool. Okay. I'm going to link the two windows together because I want to be able to click on a symbol here on my radar screen and have the chart update to that symbol. So if you look on the top of my windows, there's an S and an I. These are my linking buttons. I'm going to click on the S, and I'm also going to click on the S for the chart. The S, I'm linking by symbol, and as long as they're the same color, I can click on any symbol here. Let's say that I click on Adobe, and the chart will change to Adobe. You can see the symbol right here in Adobe. I can click on, for example, AMAT, and AMAT gets loaded. Linking is also a nice feature. You can link as many windows as you want as long as they're in the same color. A change in symbol in one window will apply the symbol to all the ones that are linked under the same color. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at my scanning. Because when I first started, I wanted to scan the 100 symbols of the NASDAQ, and I want to find out which ones are crossing right now. How do I do that? Well, the first step was to insert the study. We did that already. Now you have to turn on the alert. The alert is what's going to tell you which ones are crossing right now. How do I turn on the alert on the whole column, though? I right-click on the column header, go to Studies, and I'm going to edit the study for the moving average 2 lines. Okay, and here, I'm going to go to the Alerts tab and enable the alert. Notice that it's the same features that you find when you're in a chart. But right now I'm doing everything on a spreadsheet with 100 symbols simultaneously. I'm going to choose the alert continuously, but I want to disable the messaging. And this is a smart thing to do because you're disabling the sounds and the pop-up messages, especially when you're turning on an alert for hundreds of symbols. The least you want to do is have to click through hundreds of pop-up windows on your screen. So I'm disabling messaging, and I'm going to show you how the alerts pop up on the screen. I'm going to click OK, and the alert is turned on. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's really small, but when you turn on an alert in a column, you see little corners inside the cells. Like right now, I can see them in yellow next to the cell, but every so often, and let me just make a parenthesis here so that, or make a drawing here so you can see what I'm pointing to. Do you see these ones that have a red marker? The ones that I'm marking right on my screen? Those are the ones that are triggering the alert right now. And I can scroll down or continue to scroll down on this list to find the ones that are crossing. Right now, here's another one. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I'll have another few ones that are crossing right now. I don't want to scroll up and down to find those ones that are crossing right now. So let me filter the radar screen so that it only shows me those ones that are triggering the alert. Take a look at the top of radar screen. We have a filter bar. That is very smart. I'm going to go up here to the drop down for filter. I'm going to select my moving average. Doesn't matter which one I click on. And then I'm going to say, show me the ones that have an alert that is true. And there it is. Notice how the whole list is filtered and is showing me the 5 symbols that are triggering the alert right now. This is real time. And you can see how quickly I was able to scan through the 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ index and find the ones that are triggering the alert. Let's confirm. I'm going to click on CERN. I click it. I look at the chart right here on the right hand side. I open it up a little bit. And what is happening on the current bar? Does everyone see what's happening? The 2 lines are crossing. Let's look at another one. CTSH. I click it. The chart updates. And what's happening? Notice how the lines have crossed. Intel is also showing me a cross. I click it, and there it is, the cross for Intel. Great tool. If you're looking for a specific event that is happening in the market, the radar screen window is a window that's going to help you find those opportunities. Can you choose stocks by price? Yes, you can. In fact, let me disable here this filter, and you can say, give me stocks that are greater than $50. Okay, that's pretty much every single one. So more than $100. And you can continue increasing your filters. In a future update, we're going to include the ability for you to have multiple filter bars. So you can say, okay, give me the ones that are above $100 and also give me the ones that are above, 100 million shares. And you can add filters to the radar screen to even narrow down your list of symbols even more. Okay? Let's say some questions here in the chat. Where do you get a full list of all futures contracts? We don't have a full list per se, but we do have a built-in workspace. I just go to the File, Workspaces, Open Workspace menu, and we have some default workspaces. We have one that is organized for futures, and you can find the list of futures there that you can use if you'd like. I missed the part about populating the radar screen with data. In your case, NASDAQ data, could you show? Yes, definitely. If you wanna load a list of symbols, just go to the data or data, depending on where you're from. Go to the data button right here at the top of radar screen and go to add symbol list, and we have the 3 main indexes right here. You can also go to other symbol lists if you're interested in looking at other lists of symbols. Okay. Any other questions in the chat? I don't see any. Thank you for participating in the class with me. I think the questions are great when you're in the chat window. One more thing that I wanted to show you before I close the class, because I know in the topic of trading, it is important for you to keep an eye not only on your positions. At the beginning of the class, I showed you the position graph bar up here, and I showed you that you can see the P&L right on the box. But let's say, for example, that I want to get rid of this Twitter position. It's making about $800. I don't have to go to an order entry tool. I can right-click on that box, go to close this Twitter position, and I can send it now at Market Intelligent. Notice how the Twitter position disappears because I sent a market order to sell what I had on Twitter. So you can use the position graph bar also to react to anything that's happening on any position. But let me show you the control center for trading right here within the platform. I'm going to open up a new workspace, go to apps, and then open up a window called the Trade Manager. Here it is. Do not confuse it with the Trade Manager analysis. The one that I'm talking about is just called the Trade Manager. I click it. You get the Trade Manager window. Let me resize it. The Trade Manager, if you look right here at the bottom, has multiple tabs. When you first open it, it opens up in orders, and you can see a list of all the orders that are working or have been sent in your account. They're going to be color coded, so you can see which ones are filled, which ones are active. Notice how the order status column right here correlates to what's happening to the order. If it's been filled, and you can see all the filled orders are blue, all the you are outs are orange. So at a glance, you see what's working, what's not, what got filled, what is still active, just all at a glance. Another tab that I like to use right here in the Trade Manager is the Positions tab. So Positions also gives you a list of every open position in your you have in your account. For example, if I want to get rid of that Nikkei position, I just right-click and I can close positions right from this list of open positions. And last tab that I know that everyone is concerned about is your balances. You can go here to your balances tab. It shows you where the money is and how much money you have in your account. Over here at the top, I have a filtering drop down. I can say, show me my equities. And you can see that in my equities account, I have approximately, $4.9 million. Of course, that's all simulated money. I don't think I'd be sitting here with an account with that size, but it's there, and you can see all your balances right here on your simulated account and your live account. Okay? Great. I think that's it. These are all the topics that I wanted to cover in class. I showed you a little bit of charting, a little bit of trading, and a little bit of scanning. There's much more to TradeStation. We cannot fit it all in one 60-minute class, and that's why we make a lot of emphasis on the TradeStation Masterclass so that you can join us and learn about everything else that is TradeStation related. If you cannot travel, let's say you cannot join us in person, there's a ton of videos that are on the website, tradestation.com/university, and you can search on any tool. Like, for example, I see a question right here on news. If you want to learn about news, just search for news and you find all the videos that are related to news. All that education is free, it's on the website, and you can view it at any time. It's also available on the YouTube channel. So what else is needed to say? Nothing else. I just want to say that it was a great it was a pleasure spending this time with you. I hope to see you in a future event right here at TradeStation, and thank you for spending this time with me. Goodbye, everyone.